Multimodal social semiotics has two aspects: multimodality, which focuses on the material means for representation, the resources for making text, on modes. Social semiotics, on the other hand, provides a theoretical frame for a focus on all aspects of meaning-making, on the agents who make signs, on the complexes of signs, on the processes of meaning-making, and on the theoretical entities that are involved in this, such as signs, text, genre, discourse, and other aspects. There are many aspects of this theoretical perspective that are of interest for education. Firstly, what is interesting about this theoretical framework is that it provides a link between the interest of sign makers as learners, and it gives an account of their perspective on the world at the moment of making a sign. It permits to take the sign as evidence on documentation of the interest of the sign maker, that is the learner. To the prompt of the teacher, the learner will shape his or her response, making the sign by resorting to the multiple and complex social formation of the signs. We are considering their social environment, that is, the learner and the teacher's social environment. Secondly, another very important concept is that to make a sign is to make knowledge. Knowledge is shaped in the use by social agents of a distinct representational affordance of specific modes at the point of making the sign. The selection indicates the interest of the student. At this point, for example, let us consider a situation in class such as when the students produce a comic. Both the picture and the words, the spoken utterance that results, represents learning. They are signs of learning. In consequence, the sign maker has made knowledge. By making signs, meaning and knowledge change the inner resources of the sign and meaning maker, that is the student. As a consequence, in that process, identity is constantly remade. Another very important idea is that without interaction, there is no meaning making. Meaning making occurs with individuals who are interacting with a specific environment. Kress manifests a concern with social issues. He says that the means for making meanings and the means for communicating these meanings are shaped first and foremost by social and economic factors. In social semiotic theory, the assumption is that the cultural technologies of representation, production, and dissemination, and the affordances and facilities that they offer are used within the frame of what is socially possible at any one time. This leads us to the fourth reason why this perspective is of interest for education. Kress proposes an ethical approach to communication by saying that full participation by all members of a group, socially, culturally, economically, and effectively in that community affairs is a sine qua non for that group to flourish. That includes a commitment to values regarded as central for maintaining social cohesion. That, in turn, requires full access to semiotic, cultural, social, and economic resources. So let us say that there are three main aims of a social semiotic theory of communication. The first one is that members of communities have access to their semiotic and other cultural resources essential to act in their social world on their own behalf and for their own benefit. The second one is that as members of a cohesive community, they are able to contribute to common purposes by dealing productively with constantly new semiotic and social problems, and by designing, representing, and communicating their suggested solutions to them. The third one is that in their social semiotic actions, members of social groups have a clear sense of the effects of their semiotic actions on others and act so as not to impair the potentials for actions of others. Let us conclude with the final task to integrate all the concepts that we have seen in this class. Analyze this production. In what ways is Claudia, the writer, producing a multimodal social semiotic text that reveals an ethical perspective in communication? How does she do it? What are the threads of meaning in her text? What modes are involved in it?